All right. Good. Really help also. All right. Playing. Way too tight. Yep. Two. Still getting used to using Pro Builder. Kind of playing around with it. Hey, Zukin. If I can get this. Hey, Braden. I know who it is. That's gonna work. What? The other one. All right. Did I forget to delete the faces? I think I did. Let's get rid of those first. Let's set the snapping on. Oop. Assuming I forgot it on these. Yep. And I keep wanting to hit my Maya hotkeys for deleting faces, which if I do, deletes the entire thing. You remember over there and use that. I knew what you meant, buddy. Right. Let's... And we have... Those are all better. Oh, that's right. I had that on a... Let me go back. No, I'm just going to delete this page. Look at face now. Oh, helps if I'm in. Hey Nick, how's it going? Yeah, I probably do that bit myself. Kids are really good at undoing what I do, though. I always feel like I'm in a losing battle there. Alright. Yep, see, he even admits to it. This is the first time I've been running the music in the background. Is that at a good level? Or should I turn it up, turn it down? Is it looping because it's coming through my speakers as well? Let me know if you guys hear anything weird with it. Hey, awesome. I also put a noise gate on, so we shouldn't be hearing obscene amounts of me clicking my mouse. And some of these hotkeys that I've been looking up do not want to work for me with this UVing. Oh, you know what? I'm doing the wrong edge. Those. Yeah, that works. Do it that way. This is... Let's get rid of those. Try to do this semi-efficiently. Okay, so I've got those. Let's... There we go. There we go. Control is grid. So much easier when you can snap stuff. Grid points. There's scaling options that are supposed to be over here, and I'm not seeing them. Oops. Helps if I'm... There we go. Where I want it, though. There we go. I'll have to figure out why mine isn't showing up the, or not, whatchamacallits aren't showing up. The automatic, like, scaling tools, because it'd be so much easier just to hit 2. If this, jump up in scale by 2. But obviously I have some settings wrong. But I'll figure that out off stream. Little... Oh. Not what I wanted that to do. You know, you want it. This here. Moving the wrong line. Hold on. There we go. There's definitely some functionality to this that I really miss from yeah. It is what it is. There we go. Good. So, I'm just working off of trying to get a better look at what Zukin's concept here looks like, just with some textures on it. So, mostly today I'll probably be cleaning this up, and then my other plan is I was playing around with a little bit of a material for kind of that ceramic tile for the roofs. Yep, that goblins. Did I say Zukins? I need to wake up more. Goblins concept. Thank you, Zukin. Yeah, so I'm picturing this more ceramic tile, which is also kind of goes in line with some of the reference that I'd given to Goblin before he started kind of working on other stuff. So I was playing around with a little bit of a material the other night. So I might play around with that a little bit more. Yes, Connor, you guys can go outside and have a lightsaber battle. My kids are now following me, so their chat's going to be an adventure at this point. Alright, got that. See if I can get this one. Alright, so now it's a text. Let's group all of these together. I'm gonna do this off screen just so I have a little bit more room with the tool off screen for now anyway. All these faces. And we group them. And I'll grab these ones. And them. Is my alright, let's try doing it. Some of these tutorials that I've been watching, some of this documentation, I think are out of date. I cannot get that to work. Figure that out later. What? Oh, you need my lightsaber? Hold on, guys. Alright. Much better. Alright, so let's get this working better. We're grouped with this side. This one's up. That should be all of them. Oh, except for these. Yes. See if I can try to do this again. Group and something. What? Something is collapsed on it. What is that? Oh, you know what? I bet you I have... Yep, I was cleaning up edges, and apparently I forgot to collapse vertices. Was the... Come along with me. They have actually done that several times. When we first got our lightsabers for as a Christmas gift for my sister, we would go outside and blast it off of, well, my phone at the time. They've got phones now. Hey, Jusega, thank you for the follow. But yeah, no, we totally have blasted Duel of Fates while having lightsaber fights outside my apartment or in the street at my parents' house. Done that several times as well, with all the neighbor children watching us. is. That is what I would expect it to be. Some extra... Something is still collapsed here, and I'm not... Oh, apparently... More stuff that I didn't collapse. Thank you, Malefin? Yeah. Sorry, I'm dyslexic, so me reading these names off is going to be fun. But I do appreciate the follow. Thank you very much. Oh, you're working on the monks? What are you fixing with them currently? See, I just made a monk the other day. I have yet to actually run around and game with him. Looks good. What else? Alright, you know what? I'm just gonna hit all of these vertices, because apparently I skipped a bunch of welds. Or I did them, and then I Control-Z'd back over them, which is very likely. Because this was the first part that I was really playing around with, as I was starting to learn the Pro Builder portion of Unity that I have not really played around with before this. Oh, cool. Playing around with the damage and abilities and stuff. Okay. Yeah, I can remake. I haven't, like I said, I just created it, and then I didn't even get a chance to get on. And actually play around with it. So, me remaking it isn't that big of an issue. Thank you, Milfin. Yeah, we're playing around. If you guys are new to our project, we're working on a small indie MMO and kind of going for a classic feel. So, you know, very blocky, very old school. But I'm just kind of playing around with some early concept work. Our concept artist, Goblin, was working on. And this will probably get refined, but I'm just kind of playing around with the just how it feels right now with this portion. And then over here I had some scale stuff that I was playing around with for our various races and seeing how those structures should feel. After I do play around with this and getting the textures right, I'll probably end up just replacing a lot of these pieces with this for now, or with this kind of stuff for now. But kind of playing around with it for now. Yeah, I got the old Final Fantasy VIII soundtrack going in the background right now. What is this? I think this is the old boss battle music. I actually bought the remake or remaster of it a year or two ago. Never got around to playing it. My oldest started playing it and was way into Triple Triad, which makes sense because I played the crap out of Triple Triad in that. But he ended up accidentally saving over his save, and then that killed his motivation to keep going. Yeah, the textures and stuff actually look pretty solid. It was kind of funny though, because some of you could tell which of the NPCs were part of the texture of the background and which ones were actual 3D models, which I found kind of funny. I don't know if they fixed that since then, but that was definitely something I noticed right away. No reading that there's... There we go. Everything looks... right. Good. Now that I fixed that, is this going to let me group these? It's still stacking them. Slowly but surely. Oops. Oh, right. It's right click. Hotkeys are so not what I'm used to. And I keep doing the right click when I don't do. There we go. There we go. Why is that still... That's a fun bug. Is that a... All right. That is really annoying. You are attached. Shouldn't be right now. All right. Break group. Hey, there we go. There we go. Okay. Okay. Worked. All right. Still have extra ones floating around. Awesome. Parts of the window. What are these? I've already checked these. Like, Let's try this again. There we go. I think I finally closed off all of those. Alright. Now let's scale more like I'd like them. Boy. Let's get up. Mouse is not liking being right at the edge of it. Good. Really? There you go. Oops. Click. Might not be a bad idea for me to offset one of these. Break up the repetitiveness of that dark spot kind of going across. I may want to edit that texture at some point too. Let's get these parts. That was weird. There we go. Are you? Sometimes this software, they just don't get along. Thank you. You get about the same length. Because it's at such a stark, or not a stark, such a sharp angle, I don't really care if they're lined up. All I'm caring about is they're about the same pixel density. Oh no, I didn't. Alright. Picking your triple triad. Hey, it actually welded for me. So I just forgot to, I guess, hit the planar thing before. Yay. Makes my life easier. Okay, so I'm just gonna scale these down until it's the door width. Or not width, but the height. That's pretty close. Good. So I'll do the same thing with the windows. Remember to, or not constantly fighting with UVs are pretty quick. Get that to work. Cool. Hey, that takes so much of the headache out of what. Leave. So static. Out to. I do all these on his own? This one. Oh, I get what I did wrong. Never mind. Alright. I was just going to duplicate this one over here, but this one's automatic. So I can, once I get the UVs set, I can just scale it. So let's fix this one right. Working. Ah, here we go. Tie. Oh, that's exactly what I wanted it to do. Okay. I just did it out of I did it probably out of order. I just gotta get more used to the way that this particular software's UVing works compared to what I'm used to. Alright, so I have this one laid out like I want it. I'm gonna duplicate this. And we'll rotate it in 180. Oops. 180. I believe it's, and I know John and Ham are kind of still fleshing out the lore, but I believe most of the structures here are human-based structures. So most of this, I believe, is going to be more of a human scale, and then, you know, potentially other buildings will be other scales. Nice. Not adjusting. That is really weird. Working fine the other day. Oh yeah, I get it. All right. Not sure why that is doing that. I'm just gonna do this. Oop. Throw this up there. And we will. Pretty good. Fix the other side sometime, but no, working pretty well. This one. There, that's better. All right, so for this, that one on there as well. And sorry, my panel's off screen. You guys aren't seeing what I'm doing. Just tiling that. And then I think to get a little bit of contrast between the floor, like I just threw down some vector color on this. So this is an orange and this is more of a kind of a tan. It's kind of hard to tell with the way the light is. But I think I'm going to throw down just one of the brick tiles we have, just kind of as it for now. Around with it. So good. Now that I'm figuring out how this software wants me to do this, I really should just put this up in a material palette. A lot easier. It's Alt-3. That's group these spaces. Or here we go. Much easier that way. Oh, I have that whole object selected, so that posted it on the side. So I'm gonna have to. There's gonna be a seam there. I think if this is gonna be something that's gonna be easier to merge, like when I get to stuff like this, if it's gonna be easier to merge these and just sew that, or really just do the extrusion for that wall from there. I'll have to play around with some different different methods that I'd want to use in this situation. Yeah, same thing over here. Just gonna get seams sitting on top of each other for now, but I can fix it later. I might even bring these, export these out into Maya as well to oops, hit the right number, to get them a little bit better in terms of stitching UVs and stuff. I just work so much faster with all those keys and stuff. That might be one that ramp that I wouldn't mind it just being completely like one material. I think you get better contrast between that. That is ramped up. I'm just kind of moving around, making sure all these are kind of tiled at the same scale. Oh, you know what? I bet I have... Yep. That would be my problem. Match. Oh, let's try. And... either. So, for anyone who's not familiar with 3D modeling, I'm just deleting the faces that are joining another face. So, like, hard to see. This wall right here has another one. So this face right here that is highlighted yellow, never actually seen in the game. You see a little highlight of it on that edge, but it's not actually seen. It's just the kind of selection. So I'm just going to remove that. And it actually cuts down on the overall poly count for the entire zone. I was doing this pretty quickly as a kind of a playing around with getting used to this tool set, because again, I haven't played with Pro Builder all that much. I was kind of doing this as an exercise after Goblin posted this. So I am slightly just refining this a little more. Although I have got these extra floors here, and I probably shouldn't sides of this, because I might play around with that later. So I'm gonna put those back. Just because if I decide to actually keep using this geometry, and we decide we want to actually use these floors that I put in here, I probably will want those to like shift over for like a ramp or the next level. But for now, you know, this is all kind of very placeholdery, and it's based off of, you know, really early stage concepts of what the rework might look like or might feel like, and this was just kind of to get a better feel of it, how it looks in 3D, and how well you know, just these shapes and stuff transition from a two-dimensional image to a three-dimensional image. And granted, I took some liberties here just to get up on top of this, and I didn't obviously build this. You know, this is from a building. Obviously, this is a street. But just kind of getting generic kind of feel and understanding of how those shapes and stuff play with each other. You know, kind of like almost like a split tier house. So you've got this one house that's kind of on a roof, and then there's another roof kind of split tier. That how does this one work? So, you know, I added a little bit of stairs here, and there isn't really an edge here, but I decided to throw a little railing ledge thing on those sides. So just kind of seeing how the two you know, philosophies are going to work together in terms of 3D and 2D. And right now, I'm just kind of going in here and throwing some materials on them. Again, seeing how it looks in a little less gray boxy of a fashion, with just this grid that's gridded out to every meter. Which is awesome for like world building, just because you can see, okay, you know, I need this to be a meter wide or a meter and a half. Like getting these doors, I could just hit the metric that I determined playing off of these meshes, and I could just snap it to that pretty easily. Although Pro Builder definitely has some jankiness, but definitely sped up this ideation a bit for me. And I'm not really playing too much with the textures right now because, again, this could all end up being throwaway geo eventually. More than likely. Ideas might change. Kind of put these on here. And then once I have this all at least kind of to scale, and by scale I mean the tiling of these tech, that, you know, how the pixel density of these tech. Trying to articulate. I'm gonna hop over to a texture that I was playing around with the other night, although not on stream. And I'm going to see if there's anything else I want to do playing with it. If there's anything else I want to do playing around with it, or if I want to just throw it in or onto some Geo and Maya and see a different couple techniques that I might use to handle these kind of tiles for the roof. Like how much Geo is going, how much of a curved tile is going to be too much tile, is kind of what my the question I'm asking myself for today when I get to that. Like how blocky is too blocky, how much modeling is too much modeling. It's been something I've been playing around with pretty much inside up onto the project, with different things like stairs and things. These are very rough stairs. These aren't these. Oops. Yeah. If I were to use this, I would probably hop this over into Maya and actually clean up these edge loops and then merge everything together. I mean, I guess I could do it in here, but I have a feeling I would just be faster at exporting it out and importing it. Are these 4-bit? Oops. I hit the right. I think I'm close to where I want this before. Let's take a quick look. Oops, I overrode. We'll leave that for now. Press later. But let's save this. We'll hop into the game. Oh, one other thing I wanted to do. These walls, or the stairs feel really narrow, so I'm just gonna play around with this one down here. Add another meter. See how that feels. See if it's too much. There we go. And you can see I still got, like, if I'm actually going to use this geo, these all these faces right here, this would be cut down on the rendering cost, and I bet you the stairs are the same. Oh no, I did clean up the bottom of this. Didn't clean up the back face though. So some of the stuff is still very kind of messing around with it until we get pass on lure. Pass on. Excuse me. On the concepts for it. I'll just kind of, and I'm going to bring this wall over here. And I will be right back because children outside yelling for me, which more than likely means, oops, that that they forgot to bring keys. They're outside with their lightsabers and candles. So I will be right back. Where did I put my? I will be right back, and then we'll continue on with this. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that. I was right. They forgot their keys. Stuck outside in their lightsaber battle earlier. And again, like, I have the faces still on a lot of this, or had a lot of the faces on this stuff because I was still just kind of playing around with it and not trying to. Breath from running up and down the stairs. All right. And I know I can't see this really right now, but I am going to throw on. I can see it. I'm not going to play around with the inside parts because I don't know if I'm even going to use those, but I will throw materials on these just so they have some materials. And I forgot throw it on these ones real quick. Yeah, pretty good. All right, so this one will be a little bit wider. These will be the same size that they were. I just extended this part of the building out a bit for fun. Save, and then close this. We will zone in the game. Zoning into local server, so no one else will be on, but take a look. My all right. Yeah, I kind of like the little bit wider stairs personally. Here, you guys can see it. Slightly narrow. They're basically one person. These ones you get 2 people across, probably. Yeah. Oh, hey, Goblin. Thanks. Yeah, it's looking pretty good. I really like how it's translating from the from your concept to 3D. Obviously, it's not perfectly, and that's just because there's a torch on the other side. I'm not really playing with lighting or anything like that, but I just basically shoved that torch into the geo, so that's the problem there. But looking pretty good. Got a little bit oh, not this one. Got some texture issues and stuff, like seams and stuff that I'd have to fix either in Maya or get a little bit more in depth with this, but scale-wise, I think it works pretty well, and I think it's translating pretty well. So the next thing I want to do, I'm pretty happy with this. How it is. So I'm going to leave this, but I want to get a little bit more and play around with some of the kind of tile look now. So let me close this. I don't know why I'm fighting hiccups, but apparently I'm... Alright, so besides that, let me open up Substance. Desktop. And I was playing around with the other night off stream. Just a simple brick, or not brick, like ceramic tile. There we go. So you guys can see. Put on a high-res plane. Yeah. So kind of the idea of what it would look like. So it, I don't want to open up my PureRef document right now because it's a fairly large file. But essentially there is, the idea is there's a kind of a curved plate this way, but then it's sitting on a curved plate, which you can't really see. I think I'm going to end up needing to create a trim sheet element for it. I'm imagining it's gonna be kind of, it'll probably be boxier than modeled, but I am gonna do a modeled version first and then dial it back. And if that's the case, this texture might end up getting merged into the trim sheet that I kind of have started, because I have there's at least a third, if not like a half of it, that is just kind of random uh, rock, concrete type texture, and it doesn't even look great. But I didn't really do anything there because I didn't have any idea what I wanted to put there. But I might do like a row or two of these in there, and then what would end up being kind of front looking up portion of it where you have the tiles like this, and then maybe just some like dark black negative space, maybe not jet black, some sort of negative space in between those, and then it can be lined up nice and neatly with like a piece of wood or a piece of kind of the loam texture or something along those lines. But real quick, and obviously, I am using this with tessellation, so the image, in game would technically be flat like this. So, it's gonna be flat, and I always forget. There it is. I always forget designers rotate light hotkey because it's different than painter. I use painter more often. But it would essentially react, like there's the different tiles there. But when I'm using designer, I like to use tessellation just because it helps see the forms a lot better. At least in my opinion. So yeah, I've just kind of got this, and I think I like where it's at right now. Obviously, I haven't hand painted over it yet. I sampled some of the. Oh shoot! I closed it. I sampled some colors out of here, and then just threw them into a gradient. That I that I played, or I tweaked where the highs and the lows are, just to kind of get a generic color that we could go back in and kind of paint over. But the basics of it, the basic layout of the coloring is there. Awesome, thanks. Yeah, I think it looks pretty good. We could probably push it a little bit with just a little bit of brushwork in here to get kind of more a hand painted feel, but I think it's working pretty well. So I'm just gonna push these out as here. Oh yeah, I bet you could. I mean, honestly, a lot of what I was planning on doing was doing a lot of height map stuff like this, so we can get some solid normal mapping to it, and doing like a rough color like this and then painting over it. But I could always just hand you off the file if you wanted to, and just do a real quick paint over it. And I think we could get that. I think that might be a pretty quick way to work on for certain materials. I think certain materials, just doing it straight hand painted is going to work better. But for something like this, where it really needs to play with the height map. Yeah, I'll hit you up with that. Okay, so let me push this. New folder, and we'll call this. Oop, that is not spelled right. Export, even though I don't need all of those. The only ones that I'm really worried about are going to be the base color and the normal. When I do work in Substance, again, I like to work with tessellation and displacement, just so I can see what's going on with the texture a little bit easier. But I also do play around, and I do kind of set up a roughness map and stuff like that. I know we're not necessarily going for the shiny look that John doesn't like, but it definitely helps to have it when you're working with it, so you can just kind of see how all the forms and all the noise and stuff are reacting with light, and then you just don't use them later. So let's do that. Make any changes? I'm gonna hit yes. Just And let's open up Maya. Might take a minute to open up. While it is, I'm going to make sure it turns out all right. I have to constantly think about like which file location this stuff goes into, because I've got like 2 versions of Painter and Designer, and these, I think these 2 go to Algorithmic. These goes to Adobe, even though they're all owned by Adobe. But obviously they're pushing this more into the Creative Cloud type of a thing nowadays. But yeah, these look pretty good. Normal map, height map. I'll probably play around with this with the height map initially, just because the black and white colors are probably going to be easier to see than this. But we'll take a look. Okay, so what I'm envisioning is, I need to stop covering my mouth. I like to think like this. And it's probably not great for the stream when you're talking like this into your own hand. So I'll have to remember that as I continue to stream some of our work here. So I'm thinking, obviously there's going to be some sort of shape coming off. Let me just throw a new shape on here. So snapping. Oh, I don't have. Right. But I'm essentially picturing something similar to this. But something similar to this, where it's pretty thin, sticks out just a bit, and then it's gonna be slightly slanted. The question that I'm kind of playing around with today is this gonna be too boxy of a look, or is it going to be something that I can go with? And actually, I may as well just bring in those right now. So throw those in here while we have that kind of basic video down how it looks. Textures. Throw it old. New folder. Roof. And we will import new assets. Documents. File. We need really just those 2. All right. Not let's make sure these are compressed properly. Pretty sure I probably have something set up weird in my Unity file, so it's bringing it in as sprites by default, where I want it to come in as default. So I need to play around with it. That's doing that. World, and I will create ceramic roof, and drag that into base color, and that normal. See this before I start modeling, just on the off chance it works as is. Probably won't. There we go. And dial some of the go. What? Mostly. Oh, I guess that's right. We'll try like 5. And let's editing. Ooh, that's way bigger than I want. Oh, I just realized, like, this is reading weird. It's the tiles are running the opposite direction I want them. Sure. Let's rotate that. Why are you? There, it's working now. We're good. And I'll just need to. Reading pretty well. Biggest problem is its edge probably is going to need to be painted in darker. Yeah. Or I'm going to have to mess with the normal. I might have to play around with that, the way the that had a hard edge, which is actually, that was my bad. So what I probably should do is that initial gradient that I'm using to kind of shape this, I should probably have a gradient that's slightly almost oval shaped, that is cutting a slight almost bevel right here, to give this mask, not mask, but this normal map a giving it something to play with. It doesn't have the depth right now, so that's why it gives this really really harsh line. So I'm gonna have to play around with that that texture a bit as well. But for now, I'm going to do some simple modeling for this. So, if anybody's not familiar, this is Maya software package I tend to use when I'm modeling. So, what I learned on and have stuck with all these for the most part. Although I have used Max and slightly played with Blender. What is it? When do you think? And I was curious because I'm but think about subscription. Honestly, I don't mind personally. I don't mind subscription models. And I believe that is what our plan is going to be to do subscription models. So I don't think it's that big of an issue. Specifically with our game, we're targeting a very, very niche target audience or niche target audience, depending how you pronounce it. And that target audience is already kind of predisposed to doing a subscription-based model. So I think it really comes down to who the target audience is, and what is going to be in the game, and does the player feel like they're getting what the value is. Yes, you did state niche. I guess we're we're specifically targeting. I mean, the game is very much a throwback to like EverQuest. So it really is kind of targeting that. What does Goblin say? As far as subs go, it's a contract between player and devs. You keep making content, and the world expands. It feels lived in. Yeah, no, I agree with that too, Goblin. It's the money that goes into developing more and more content. If there's a game that is subscription based and you're not getting updates, I would personally I wouldn't be a fan of that. But the plan, definitely is to keep growing content, expanding, and obviously, there's stuff that we haven't about off stream, but there's already ideas for things about that won't be necessarily part of our game when the game comes out. So, actually, you know what? But yeah, no, I don't see it as an issue, specifically with what we're what we're trying to do, and we're also not trying to make this a game that is going to appeal to everybody. We're very much targeting that old school EverQuest game player base, or people that like that kind of idea. All right, let's get some game going here. Do a quick projection. And I'm just going to, doing this full screen is probably not the best idea. Snap my tools. Normally, when I'm not doing a stream, I have it snapped over to my second window full screen. Which, hold on, why did my stuff jump from one window to the other? There we go. So that's why I initially snapped it. Yes. Okay, so let's other that together. Tuck these on the side. It'll be fine. Okay. Oops, and that wasn't the side I thought it was. Probably should have looked in 3D. Selected that. And that. There we go. Okay. So the other problem I have, and I just did that again, is the and snap that to middle. Those, and then these ones, not that it particularly matters because it's really unfold along my U, so U is sideways. Will unfold. Doing there. Have this bottom. Those up. Great on. There we go. So now the edge of this will line up there. Now eventually, if I end up doing this as a trim sheet, all this stuff is going to need to be moved. Not removed, but moved around to match up with where it is on the trim sheet. And I need to figure out how much of this tile I. It's 3 tiles. Oh, hold on. 250, or is this 2048 by 2048? So these are definitely way larger than I. But we'll keep it like this for now. I can downres the. And really stretched. Let's. Thanks for the follow, Tristan. Oh, I just noticed there was more chat. I need to keep my eye on that. Thanks. You like the style of the game? You're one than each players. Awesome. We'll pay if it has something worth paying for. Yeah, no, that I'm very much in that same mindset, and I think the team in general is very much. All right, so we got this. I'm gonna try to do this a little bit quickly in terms of adding in these these edge loops. So I've got what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10. I should have actually known that right off the top of my head because I did the tile generator that made. So 10. So let me attempt to do this with a bevel. 10 should land me right on. Oh, oops. Helps if I do it correctly or in the correct variable. So 10. Fraction of 1. So those are all in the middle of them. And let's bump this to 20. Gives me essentially something to play with for those tiles. Have a little bit of sculpted detail. Now I'm gonna make a couple different versions of these. What? One without it. What? I'm gonna duplicate this just so I don't have to model it later. Just on the off chance I decide I do want this. All right, so let me go back. What happens when you jump between software packages? You stop using your go-to muscle memory method. And by no means is this efficient right now. I'm just doing this quickly for testing. If I was, done with this, I would be cutting down on the poly count because it can get super low poly. Actually, let me do it on this. Oops. And let me double check that I did not. I did. So when I merged them, I forgot to weld the edges. Because I pushed the fraction up to 1, it basically put 2 vertices right on top of each other, which doesn't look like a big deal until you start trying to do UV work. You coddled playing Anarchy Online, which plays S and old laggy, but the reason a 2001 game is worth 15 a month in 2021 class diversity. Instantly unique abilities, items actually felt like they were value and unique, massive world. Even thinking of other subscription-based games like Rift and WoW. Yeah, actually, I haven't really put time into it. I did up my EverQuest expansion or subscription again to play with my son and my brother on one of the TLPs, but then I got on this project, and between working on this project and working as a teacher at 2 colleges, and having been not a ton of free time, so that subscription definitely did not pay off in the end. Although we did have fun for the little bit we did play on it. Double this, and we're on the. Again, I'm making a bunch of different versions here to play with, like how much modeling can with. That still kind of gives that. Right, and then go and tweak that. New segment. And we. That's about as much as I think I could get away with potentially, without making it way too much. And edges. No, I'm gonna leave them there, but I am gonna soften them. Well. Make sure they're hardened. Often Because even though it's blocky, I do want the light to kind of read like these are, you know, nice flowing edges. Looks like flat compared to if this was all polygonal. See a pretty big difference. The way the light kind of plays with the. And let's do that to this last one, and then I'm going to export all these out, and we'll bring them in. Looks